Okay, hey friends. So, welcome to Perceptualware, and what we're going to see in this session is actually the example. I think that, what was it? Everyone seems to have it together. And we're going to apply this, and I've got some prompts sitting in the background using in GPT that's actually going to apply some of the principles that we've been talking about, assessing it, getting to the cognitive distortions, the emotions, the positivity, applying some good empathy, and then coming out with a better way of seeing things, and we'll apply it to a single thought. So again, we're just not having to set up all the prompts in it. We've got that set up in the background, and then we'll hit it and we'll see what happens. So everyone else seems to have it together as the upsetting thought. So the types of emotions that will be triggered: envy, insecurity, sadness, frustration, isolation. We think about then what are the positive values behind this? Desire for self-improvement, the awareness of one's own feelings, the ability to compare oneself, although it might be biased, this is true. Thought and feeling empathy, I think here is it's completely natural to look around and feel that others seem that everything is sorted, especially in a world where, people often showcase their highlights. Again, I've spoken in the past where we've got the highlight reel of all my photos, and I take 100 photos and present one. But everyone has moments of self-doubt and they feel that they're lagging behind. It's this notion of race. So in the table here, we've got what types of assumptions that are put in here, and what types of errors, and how often they're happening in that statement. So everyone else seems to have it together. The core silent assumption is everyone doing. I've taken it to absurdity. So every single person in the world except me is perfect, and no one else has problems. Just think about that. Like, we tend to do this. What's an adaptive thought? Not everyone has it together. It's okay for me to have it as well. And why is it adaptive? Because it reduces, the pressure of perfection, and accepts that everyone else has challenges, allow for some comparison. So I think the point here is that, spotlight fallacy is that whole thing, everyone else has got it together, is that like the whole spotlight is on you and everyone else is sorted, and you're the only one who doesn't. Achievement addiction and emotional perfectionism. So if everyone else has got it sorted, it's this idea of perfection, isn't it? Everyone else seems to have it together. The work is defined, how you compare to others. And if you're not, surpassing every single person, this is taken into absurdity. If you're not surpassing every single person that I see I'm a failure. It's like a big race, isn't it? So it's all or nothing. It's like, I've got to achieve and get first in this big, massive race. And if I don't, I'm a loser and I'm out. My worth isn't solely based on how you compare. And it separates intrinsic worth from external comparison. So this is an example where, self-esteem versus self-acceptance and conditional self-worth based on achievement, right? And it sits there. And then emotional perfection. Everyone else seems to have it together. Should always appear confident and composed. Let's take that to the extreme. Every time you feel like there's a hint of insecurity or doubt that you're flawed, something's wrong. But an adaptive thought, a better thought, is that it's human to actually have moments of insecurity, and recognize and accepting that it's human nature to have these. So again, in summary, the table reveals the unconscious resistance patterns behaviors. Like, it's evidence from the text that spotlight is pressure to achieve and the expectation for emotional perfectionism, on this grand race of life. And everyone else seems to have it together. So one small thought, but there's built in a lot of assumptions, triggers the emotions. You can see the relationship between a thought and the emotions that they trigger. But we can also see, and I think this is really important under Team CBT, is how it takes away the shame, because it's the positive values that these things are about. We want to improve. We have awareness of our own feelings, and we may want to compare where are we, in the grand scheme of things. But when it gets out of hand, then we can see that we're on the running treadmill for achievement addiction and spotlight fallacies, and there's better ways of actually seeing it. Now, you can do this via various CBT methods, but I think what it's useful, I just wanted to showcase how ChatGPT can actually be used. I traditionally struggled working through spreadsheets and various forms to pull out these, the various distortions. And I think some of where it is useful also is to take some of these things to absurdity, to see how ridiculous some of this thinking is, and just sort of snaps you out of it, and see some of these things as well. So I think that's quite useful. So from now, Chris out. I just wanted to share some of that with you to get an understanding of how technology can be used, I think, in a world to provide people with other ways and options to get what they need. Chris out.